welcome everyone to my weekly basic flow. So a pretty easy standard yoga class, nothing too crazy. If you've got blocks and straps and you know how to use them, great. Otherwise, there's really no need for any kind of props. We're going to begin in a simple standing pose at the top of your mat. So let's get started. So you're going to bring the toe mounds in towards touch, leaving some space at the heels. And you might feel this at the inner thighs or around the knees because you're bringing the hips more towards a neutral position. The arms are just going to rest down by your sides with the palms spun forward. Close the eyes, otherwise gazing down in front of you. And take a few slow breaths. Carving out this space within a room, in your home, being on the physical space of your mat. Letting go of anything waiting for you, any to-do lists, anything that's already happened in your day. And it's nice to just be here in the present moment. Hearing what you hear, feeling the mat underneath your feet. Let's place your palms at heart center. Take a full breath in through the nose and sigh that air out. Let's reach the arms up overhead as you take a big breath in. And exhale, hands heart center. One more of those, a sweep of the arms up, inhale. And exhale, hands heart. Inhale, sweeping arms up, pause. Let's add chair pose by bending into the knees. So feel the weight rested in your heels. Your toes can actually lift off the mat. Draw the navel in, feel the tailbone tuck down. And pull the shoulder blades down so you're not scrunching the shoulders up into your ears. Take another big breath in. And then fold on the exhale. Hands come all the way down to the mat. You might tuck your chin towards your chest. Spread the fingers wide, so bend the knees enough to get the palms completely grounded. And just stay here in a fold, allowing the head to be reaching down towards the mat. Now look by the hands and take a step back to your high plank pose. So physically press the mat away from you so your shoulders are strong and engaged. Take a little glide forward so you're on your tippy toes, and then bend the elbows straight behind you. Hover at halfway, low plank. Untuck each of the toes, press the tops of the feet into the mat. The heart is forward, the head is lifted. So we're not flinging the head back in space. Upward facing dog. And now let's roll over those toes, let the hips go high. Downward facing dog. Here you can shake the head around. You can lift one heel at a time. Stretching behind your legs. Moving around in your hips, your feet. Awaken the backs of your legs. And then pause at center. Allow the gaze to be somewhere between the legs so the neck stays nice and long and the head is really heavy. You don't want to be looking down at your mat. And then inhale, lift your heels. Exhale, bend your knees and look forward. Inhale to step the feet to touch once again, top of the mat, and exhale to fold. Inhale, reach the arms up, big sweep, and exhale, hands to heart center. We'll take one more of those, so the breath in to sweep up, and the breath out to fold. Take a step back, find your plank pose, align your joints, and then you take a little glide forward, bend the elbows. Tops of the feet press down for your upward facing dog, and then those hips rise, downward facing dog. heels. Try to spin those heels towards the long edges of your mat so the heels are hiding right behind your ankles. That once again brings the feet more towards parallel. Now let's lift your left leg up into the air. Bend that knee, stack the hip, drop your left shoulder down. Move around the ankle. And then straighten that leg. Look forward and step. Left foot just inside your left thumb. The heel of that back foot is lifted. Lunge forward and take it up to your high lunge. So from here, we're going to do a little dynamic work to build the heat, to get the muscles nice and warm. So on your inhale, you're going to straighten through that front knee, standing up nice and tall. And on the exhale, we're going to rebend, but hover the chest forward and sweep those arms behind you. So inhale, press, stand up nice and tall. And exhale, lower and hover. Let's take two more. Inhale all the way up. And exhale, hover. Inhale and exhale. Inhale, come up nice and tall. Keep those two straight legs. Draw right hip forward. Hands to heart center. And now take a twist over towards the left. So if you keep your thumbs right at your breastbone, you're more likely to use your core to take your twist over towards the left. Inhale, center. Arms are going to go up overhead again. Rebend into that front knee. Now flip your right palm to the ceiling. Take hold of that wrist with your left hand and dive over towards the left. Keep pressing right hip forward. Keep lunging into that front knee. Come back to center and let's drop warrior two. So now your whole body is facing the right side of the mat, but you're pressing that left knee open to the long edge of the mat behind you. Now straighten that leg, sweep the arms up overhead, take a big breath in, and the exhale to glide right out, warrior two. Inhale to sweep up, and exhale two. Last one, inhale, and exhale. Now reach those left fingertips past the knee, drop that elbow down, right arm up, and all the way over, side angle pose. You can use this left elbow at the leg to keep guiding that knee open. And you could take a half bind. That right arm reaches all the way around your low back and you're pressing that right shoulder behind you. Inhale, come right back up, warrior two. Exhale all the way down, hands to the mat. Left foot will pick up and step back, high plank. Exhale, low plank. Upward face, and downward facing dog. Now I'm going to have you come into warrior one, possibly a different way than you've done before. So walk the feet an inch or two forward, and then bring those heels towards touching each other. They don't have to necessarily be touching the mat. So you're making a V shape with the legs. Now the right leg is going to lift up into the air and let those right toes face down, getting a stretch along left leg. Now look forward. We're going to step your right foot inside your right thumb and keep that left foot as it was, that half V shape. Tent on the fingertips, find that lunge in your front knee and walk your hands up to your hips. So warrior one, hips are square to the top of the mat. Pull that left hip forward, sweep the arms up. Basket the hands behind your head, sit up tall, inhale, and twist towards the right, exhale. And then inhale, come back to center. So supporting that head and neck, let's take a lift up and a dive back. Press those elbows back behind you. And back to center. Let's straighten that right leg, arms extend. Now that left palm to the ceiling, right hand circles up, and take a side lean over towards the right. Back to center and hands rest at the hips. So this left foot is just going to take a tiny step forward, the shape of the foot, and that half V stays. Arms go wide, take the elbows behind you. Square yourself over that right leg, then breath in to lift, and the breath out to forward fold. Keeping those shoulders active. Imagining there was a pencil right between your shoulder blades and you're trying to squeeze it so it doesn't fall out. Then find your halfway. Let the arms go wide. Left fingertips will tent down to the mat or a block if you've got it, or some kind of prop would be great. Right hand to the small of your back as you twist open to the right. Revolve triangle pose, allowing that right shoulder to once again peel open and that right elbow is lifted towards the ceiling. You could take this one step further by extending that right arm up, but if it feels a little too deep, then keep the hand at the hip. Right hand to hip, look down, a little bend into that right knee, left hand to hip, come all the way up to standing. From here we find your figure four. So you can bend into that front knee, left foot can take one big step to come forward into your figure four, or you take a couple more steps as needed. Hands to find heart center. So you can keep this pretty tall, or you think of sitting back in a chair and the hips can fall behind you. Left foot strongly flexed. Now as you come back up, we're going to transition to your warrior three. So the left leg can extend for a beat, and then it's going to sweep right behind you, finding what would look like a capital T shape with the body. And then let's tent those fingertips down. So you're going to keep this supported warrior three left leg in the air. And then we're going to do some sweeping here. So stack that left hip on top of right hip and see if you can sweep that leg off the left side of the mat. Then you're going to bring it back to center with the toes facing down and then crunch the knee towards the nose. So inhale, kick that leg back. Exhale, sweep it to the left. Inhale, straight behind. And exhale, crunch under. Again, inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Inhale, kick back, pause. Let's drop that left foot next to the right foot. And right leg is going to come up in its place. Pause here, look at that foot, and stack right hip on top of left. So you should still see that foot. Now look down to the mat. You can get lighter on the right hand up to your hip, working towards half moon. That right arm might lift all the way up towards the ceiling. And then come out the way you came in. Hands down, foot down. Separate the feet about hips distance and give the feet a pedal. Palms ground to the mat. Each foot steps back. High plank pose. Take an inhale and exhale. Low plank. Upward face and downward facing dog. Now let's take that left leg in the air, three-legged dog. We're going to take 3 taps. So on the exhale, Come forward, try to tap the knee towards the nose. Inhale, kick back, three-legged dog. Exhale, try to tap that left elbow as you glide forward. And inhale, three-legged dog. Last one, we're gonna try to tap towards the right, but pause. Straighten that leg off the side of the mat. Drop the whole right foot down. And now that right arm could lift up into the air for a variation of your side plank pose. Right arm then reaches past the front of the mat. Hips press nice and high. Now let's come down. Hands down. Left leg all the way back in the air. And now step it forward to your low lunge. So left foot forward. Right knee drops all the way down and we're in your low lunge. We're going to take it a little further into the hip. So left hand inside your left foot. Heel toe that left foot wider and your hands can drop down. You can stay here for your lizard lunge, or if you've got some sort of prop, you could rest your forearms down. Some of you might be able to take it all the way down to the forearms. All right, let's return to your hands. Take those left toes and angle them off the side of the mat. Walk the hands in the opposite direction off the right side of the mat. So you can stay here now, getting more into your hip, or come lower on that right arm and reach further away with that left arm. Look underneath you, and then you might even pick up the inner arch of that left foot. Now let's carefully walk yourself back to center. So from here, we're going to tuck the back toes, lift off of that knee, and pick up this left foot just to bring the left shin down to the mat. Now we take it all the way down to the forearms, and we'll come to your forearm plank from here. So the right toes are going to stay back, and you're going to slide that left foot back. Heels are now going to drop over towards the right, and you can once again lift that left arm up for a variation of side plank, and the left arm could also extend out in front of you. Let's return to the forearms. Tuck the toes, walk them forward. You can bend the knees. So here's your dolphin pose. It's like forearm downward facing dog. Press those hips high. You can walk the feet as close as you can to the face. The knees can bend. And then lower the knees down to the mat and take a child's pose. Arms reaching down behind you. Could feel nice to release the arms. Then let's return all the way up to tabletop. And from here, tuck the toes, let the hips go high, downward facing dog. Right leg is now going to lift into the air, three-legged dog. Left foot is grounded as you can get it. Now let's lift that right leg a little higher, bend into the knee. Notice how you want to open and face the right side of the mat. For today, try to rotate that right shoulder down while lifting the right knee higher. Then extend that leg, look forward and a big step. Setting up for your high lunge, right foot stays inside that right hand, left toes wiggle back and take it all the way up. Soften the shoulders, gaze straight out in front of you. Now we're going to straighten through that front leg, stand up nice and tall. And on the exhale, rebend into that knee, Hover forward and sweep the arms back and up. So inhale, a big press to stand up tall, and then the exhale to hover forward. Inhale up, and exhale forward. Last one, inhale, and exhale. Inhale, center, come all the way up, hands, heart. So we're gonna keep this front knee nice and straight, take a twist over towards the right. Then come back to center, rebend into that front knee, and the arms up overhead. Left palm to the ceiling, right hand will circle it, reach up, and now take a side lean over to the right. Keep drawing left hip forward so hips are squared, and keep that lunge. Come back to center, and we'll go right to warrior two. So the left heel drops down, straighten that front leg, sweep the palms up overhead. Take an inhale here, and then exhale, glide out, warrior two. Inhale to lift up, and exhale, warrior two. Inhale, and exhale, pause. Now reach those fingertips forward, right elbow down, left arm up, and then reach it towards the front of the mat. The half bind is available again, where you reach that arm around the low back, trying to work towards that front hip or thigh. Rotate that left shoulder behind you. And then come all the way back up, warrior two, and then ride it all the way down, back to the mat. Right foot plants plank pose, exhale, low plank. Upward face, inhale, and downward facing dog, exhale. So now let's shorten this stance. Feet a little forward, try to make that V shape with the legs again. And now it's the left leg that floats into the air. So let those toes face down, both ankles strongly working here. And then look forward. Left foot steps as far as you can get it, and then you can always inchworm it forward, but that right foot should stay in that half V. Let's inhale to come up, warrior one, Virabhadrasana A. Basket the hands behind the head, take the opposite thumb on top, both elbows press back, and you take your twist over towards the left. Inhale, center, keep lunging, but now lift up with the heart and back to extend your spine. Come back to center, straighten that front leg, and now the right arm is up overhead, left hand circles it, reach up, and take a side lean over towards the left. Keep pressing right hip forward. Now back to center, hands can rest at the hips for a moment. Back foot just a little shorter in, and now let the arms go wide. Take a hold of the elbows. Lift up on the inhale, and fold over left leg, exhale, Parsvottanasana. Check in to see if all the weight is shifting down and giving into gravity. I want you to roll the shoulders out of the ears and squeeze that imaginary pencil between your shoulder blades. And then come up about halfway. Let the arms go wide And now right fingertips tent down, left hand to the small of your back. Revolve your triangle by turning to the left. Keep rotating left shoulder open with the option of lifting that arm all the way up. But you could also keep that left hand on your back. Now look down, left hand to hip, a softness through that left knee, right hand to hip, and come all the way up to standing. We come to figure 4 from here, so you can take a couple steps or one big step. Right foot is now going to land on that left thigh. You find a little chair pose, hands at center. If you took it lower, think of sitting back in a chair. And now let's slowly come back up, kick that right leg out, and let's sweep it behind you, warrior 3. Tent those fingertips down to the mat, and then you want the shoulders over your wrists and this ankle underneath your hips. You can hop around to find that positioning. Now we're going to look underneath you, find that right foot, and then stack it. So this is a half moon prep, but on this side we're just going to do the dynamic movement. So try to sweep that leg off the right side of the mat, bring it straight behind you, toes face down again, and crunch, knee towards the nose. So inhale, kick back, exhale, sweep right, inhale, back, and exhale, crunch. Inhale, exhale, inhale, and crunch. So re-straighten that leg and then lower right foot to meet left foot. We're going to swap. Left leg comes up in its place. Once again, look for that foot and stack the hip. You should see your foot. Don't let that leg sweep across you. Now look down and see if that left hand can come to your hip or extend all the way into the air. Ardha Chandrasana, half moon. Now let's slowly lower everything down to come into a ragdoll. The knees can bend, elbows can be clasped, head is heavy. You could also basket the hands behind the head and get some tractioning for the back of the neck. Then let's plant the hands all the way down and take a step back, high plank pose. Exhale, low plank, upward face, and downward facing dog. Strong breath, wide hands, heels heavy. Now let's take that right leg in the air. We're going to go for 3 taps. So let's start forward, draw the knee towards the nose. Inhale, extend back. And now to try to tap towards that right elbow. Inhale, kick back. Now exhale over to the left and pause. Straighten that leg off the left side of the mat. Back foot comes down. Left arm can lift up and over. So press those hips high towards the ceiling. And now let's come out of it. So that left hand down. Let's sweep that right leg back, 3-legged dog, and step it forward to your low plank. Left knee will drop all the way down. So take a moment to just settle in here. Knee stacked over your ankle. And then bring that right hand inside right foot. Right foot can step wider. So lizard lunge on the palms, on some sort of props if you have them, or all the way down. For now, the right toes are facing forward. And you try to squeeze that knee against your shoulder. And then we'll return to hands. Right toes off the side of the mat. Hands climb in the opposite direction. So you can stay here tall or drop lower to that left elbow and reach further away with that right hand. The last piece would be trying to pick up the arch of right foot. Foot down, climb yourself all the way back to center, and those right toes face forward. So the transition is to tuck the back toes under and lift that knee. We're just gonna pick up this front foot, but bring the knee and shin down and take it once again all the way to the forearm. So if you need to move yourself back to be on your mat, that's fine. With the back toes tucked, let's let the right leg step back, forearm plank. From here, side forearm plank, heels to the left. That right hand can lift up to hip or all the way up overhead, and then reach it past the front of your mat. So one more side body stretch and lift those hips high. Right forearm down, pause. Now walk the toes forward and take dolphin pose. So those hips nice and high. You can always bend into the knees. Press into the hands, press into the forearms, and then let's lower down, child's pose. Those arms could reach behind you once again. Let's come now all the way back up, straight to downward facing dog. So flip the toes under and let the hips rise. Let's come through to your back, take a hop forward, and then lightly land all the way down. So we're going to lift your right leg up into the air, give that ankle a nice spin, and then drop that foot down. Just to the other side, so releasing through each of your ankles, and then down. Coming into a bridge pose, so the fingertips reaching for the heels, the knees stay stacked over your ankles. Breath in to let the hips press towards the ceiling. Also lift the chin a little more. You can stay here or you take it one step further by lifting that right leg all the way up to the ceiling and find your figure four. So we've been here before. Try not to let this right hip sink down. Keep the right hip in line with the left one. Left foot nice and strong. Take another deep breath. Keep this shape with the legs, but lower your hips all the way down. Arms are going to go wide. Take a twist, dropping the legs towards the left and your gaze towards the right. Now look forward, replant that left foot on the mat, right leg lifts up into the air. Take a basket behind that thigh, a nice straight leg, press the heel towards the ceiling. Now straighten that left leg as well. It could even hover off of the mat to work your low core. Release the arms, reaching them forward, so no more support behind that right leg. And imagine you could lift up so tall that the nose touches your knee, your shin, or even towards the ankle. And then release. Hug in, arms around the legs, a rock side to side. And then hold behind the thighs and take a rock up to seated. From here, we'll spin forward, come onto hands and knees, tabletop. Let the knees go a little wider And then allow that right arm to lift all the way up into the air. Give a spin out through that wrist. And then exhale, thread that arm underneath, counter twist. Bring the side of the head down and walk the head forward. Left hand can walk all the way to the front of the mat, or it might pick up and wrap around the low back, rotating that left shoulder open. Then let's bring that left hand in front of your face. Push yourself back up, right arm to the air, spin it out, and two hands onto the mat. A couple of cat-cows. Inhale, heart forward. Exhale, tuck and round. Couple more. Then we'll meet in downward facing dog. From this downward facing dog, find a comfortable stance. Keep the down dog shape where the arms are extended and the hips are high, but let the heels spin over towards the right. See if you can press at least the whole left foot down. You might bend into your right knee to get more extension through that left leg. Spin back to center, and then heels to the left. So again, right foot grounded, and you might bend your left knee to get more length along the right side. And spin back to center. Let's hop to seated. And once again, return all the way down to your back. Let's set up for the bridge pose going the other direction. So feet plant, press the feet down, and allow the hips to scoop up. Pause here, both feet strongly working. And then we add the left leg if you took it. So left leg up to the ceiling, and then find that figure four. Once you find the figure four, don't let the weight of that left knee let the left hip droop down. Keep the hips at the same height. And then sink the hips. So you've got your figure four shape, arms wide. Let the legs tip to the right as your gaze falls left. Re-gaze forward and plant the right foot on the mat. Left leg will lift, basket behind that leg, and now press the leg forward at the same time as you're trying to pull it back towards you. Heel presses high. Let's add the straightening of the right leg. You can hover it off the mat for a little more work of your low abdominals. Keep the legs but release the arms, fingertips forward. And then just try to lift yourself a little higher. So really press the back into the mat. And release by wrapping the arms around the legs. Take a rock or two to come forward and pass through your tabletop. From tabletop to thread the needle, so the knees can go a little wider. Let's bring the right hand a little more centered, and the left arm reaches into the air. Spin out that wrist. And then exhale it all the way underneath. So a light landing of the shoulder, and then kind of crawl the head forward so the neck is nice and long. You could walk the fingertips past the top of the mat, or you could wrap that arm around your low back. Right hand to the mat. Press yourself all the way back up. Lift that left arm for a beat. And then 2 hands down the mat. Couple more cat-cows. So you could take the simple cat-cow that you're used to, or you could kind of pass through a child's pose, or take it forward to the sides. Just see what feels good in your body. Explore around. And then we'll all pause in tabletop. Each foot steps back, high plank pose, and take a deep breath in. Exhale, glide forward and lower, low plank. Upward facing dog, breath in. And let's take our very final downward facing dog, exhale. Shift around here, move, bend, sway. And then once more, let's come to sit and come all the way down to your back. Wrap the arms around the legs. And let's finish class with a happy baby. Feet face the ceiling. Take a hold of the outer or inner parts of the feet or behind the thighs and draw those legs towards the ribs. I'll rock side to side. You could even straighten one leg at a time as you rock side to side. And then allow yourself to curl up into a teeny tiny ball. Once again, nose towards the knees. Deep breath in and exhale. Sigh it out and come into your Shavasana, corpse pose. So we're staying nice and still. If you've got an extra layer of clothing or any props you'd like to use here to support the body, please do so. We'll be here for a few minutes, allowing the body to decompress, the muscles to integrate the work you've done. What I think is one of the more important poses of the whole practice, allowing the body to find deep relaxation. Take a deep breath. Small movements in the extremities. Head side to side. Circle the ankles, the wrists. And reach those arms behind you. Point the toes forward. Long body stretch. And then wrap around once again. And find a tipping onto your right side. If it's comfortable, you can bring the center of your forehead directly down to the floor or the mat. And then come all the way up to a comfortable seated position. Your eyes could remain lightly closed if you'd like. Palms can press at heart center. Sit up nice and tall. Soften the shoulders. Take a deep breath in. Sigh it out. The meaning of Namaste, there's light in each and every one of us. The light in me looks for and honors the light within each and every one of you. I take a big virtual Namaste to each and every one of you. Thank you for sharing your morning, afternoon, evening with me. Namaste. I'll see you next week.